A moment in the Middle Ages. The rupture was violent. One moment, Dr. Kaelan was calibrating the temporal stabilizers for his 25th century chronopod. The next, he was tumbling through a chaotic vortex of light and sound. He awoke to the smell of damp earth and the jarring silence of a world without technology. His pod was a broken metal shell, half buried in the soil of an ancient forest. His advanced suit was fried, but his multi-tool, a marvel of miniature engineering, still hummed with latent power. He was found by men encased in steel, their banners bearing a stark white cross. They were crusaders, knights on a holy quest, and they looked upon his strange attire with deep suspicion. Their leader, a grim man named Sir Gideon, held a broken sword. Seeing an opportunity, Kaelan activated his multi-tool. A laser, fine as a needle, scanned the fracture. In moments, Kaelan had analyzed the metal's integrity and fused the blade back together, stronger than before. The knights stared, their suspicion turning to awe. He was brought to their sprawling, muddy camp. It was a place of fervent prayer and rampant disease. Kaelan, a man from an era that had conquered plagues, saw death in the contaminated water and suffering in the poorly designed siege engines. He learned their crusade was failing. His temporal training screamed at him not to interfere, but his conscience whispered that he could not let these people perish from ignorance. In the medical tent, amidst the scent of blood and herbs, he met Elara. She moved with a quiet grace, her hands gentle as she tended to the wounded, offering whispered prayers with her poultices. She was not afraid of him. Her questions were not about his strange tools, but about his home, his hopes, the stars in his sky. For the first time since his arrival, Kaelan felt seen not as a demon or a miracle, but as a man. Kaelan made a choice. He began to help. He drew complex equations in the dirt, redesigning their trebuchets for maximum velocity and pinpoint accuracy. He taught them to dig latrines away from their water source and to boil their drinking water. He showed them how to mix sulfur and pitch into a terrifying, clinging fire. The knights, who once saw him with suspicion, now followed his instructions with reverence, calling him the craftsman. With each victory, Kaelan and Elara grew closer. In the quiet hours after sunset, they would walk in the fields beyond the camp. He would point to constellations, telling her of gas giants and distant nebulae. She would listen, then share the names the saints had given those same stars. "You see, mathematical perfection," she said softly, her hand finding his in the dark. "I see a divine plan. Perhaps they are two parts of the same truth." The victories felt hollow. Kaelan, a man of peace, had become a master of war. His knowledge, meant to heal and build, was now used to destroy. Elara found him one night, staring into the campfire, his face a mask of conflict. "The mind is a gift," she told him, sitting beside him. "Like faith, it can be used to build a cathedral or sharpen a sword. It is the heart that guides the hand, Kaelan, and your heart is good." The final siege was a masterpiece of Kaelan's design. The war was won. In the midst of the wild celebrations, Sir Gideon presented Kaelan with a suit of polished armor and a proud white warhorse. He was a hero. But as he mounted the horse, a faint, rhythmic beeping came from his pocket. The multi-tool, a rescue beacon. The pod's auto-repair systems were complete. It was time to go home. He found Elara at the stream where they had first spoken of the stars. The words tumbled out of him. The truth of the future, the accident, the signal. He had to leave. Tears traced paths through the dust on her cheeks, but she did not pull away. "Do not be sad," she whispered, her voice trembling. "God gave me only a moment with you, but it is a moment I will cherish for a lifetime." He pressed a small, smooth data chip from his tool into her palm. "It holds the stories and music of my world. A piece of my home. A piece of me." She clutched it to her chest as he leaned in and gave her one last, desperate kiss. Then he turned and walked back into the darkness of the forest, a man of science who had learned the immeasurable weight of faith, leaving his heart forever in a fleeting moment in the Middle Ages.